Everybody, happy Wednesday. Kind of missed that 9 o'clock mark today. Whoops. Thanks for coming to Live with Liz. Every week we're talking about marketing and business development for law firms, and today we're focusing on competitive landscaping. This is one of my favorite activities to conduct with a law firm, and it's one that I often get some pushback. My lawyers and firms that think it's just a great idea to have access to this information, but they're not making it a priority when it comes to actually investing resources in the activity and to really understanding it. And the irony there is that many corporate law firms or law firms that are offering B2B services are conducting activities like this for their clients and understanding what the exposure is, what the potential risks in the market are, but they're not doing it for themselves. And this is actually one of the most important activities that a firm can conduct when it comes to informing the business development strategy and your investments in the marketing and communications that actually push your business development strategy out. So competitive landscaping can be something that's easy, but it can be something that takes a lot of resources in terms of money, experienced professionals to conduct competitive landscaping, people to be able to utilize it. Good morning, Leah. Nice to see you. And that's really the focus of what we're talking about today. What's the purpose? How do you conduct it? What tools are available? And the first step is really getting organized and understanding what information you have available and creating a baseline for your firm. So you really want to understand what current market position your firm has. You want to track all of these attributes. You want to look at your key clients. You want to look at your key professionals, the services that you're providing that are most successful. And you want to put this together in a way that lets you compare. You don't have to go to a fancy tool. You can use a spreadsheet and create that baseline for your firm, identifying all of these different areas to help you see how you stack up against your competition. The next step is really identifying your competitors. And most law firm partners and law firm professionals I talk to, not just partners, understand generally who the competition is. And you probably can just sit down, make a list, brainstorm, and say, okay, these are my top competitors. I know. I just know that they are. But I want you to take it a step further and actually do some research. And maybe that means looking for the services that you provide as if you were the client and seeing which solutions come up. Does your firm come up? Other firms are coming up, maybe service providers. I want you to do that in search engines and look at who's investing in the advertisements related to the services as well, because that will give you an idea of who's targeting the same clients that you have and potentially whether or not those are competitors, including alternative legal service providers. So I'm talking about these maybe bigger companies that are entering the legal space and offering legal services that are not necessarily law firms that may also be investing in advertisements. And wow, I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background, but it's pretty funny. So go ahead and conduct this activity. Do it in a browser. LinkedIn is a great resource for finding and identifying competitors as well. You can even use Sales Navigator and dig even deeper to create this list, but I don't want you to go too crazy. I want you to identify 5 to 10 of the key resources out there that are going to really be the ones that you measure yourself against and that you really conduct these activities of utilizing the competitive landscaping later. You can create a broader list just to know who's out there, but in the beginning, just focus on your top 5 or 10 and utilize the list you know and the ones you actually find to see how that stacks up. Now, this is a great time of year to be conducting this activity because we're heading into the rankings and directory research season. And I mean, as much as I lament the burden of participating in rankings research, this is one of the best benefits that comes out of going through that process. In the process of submitting to the rankings researchers and the publishers, you'll be creating that baseline for yourself already as you go through the motion of filling out the forms that are available, identifying your key cases and your key clients and the work that really makes you who you are. And at the same time, when these rankings come out, one of the best uses of them is competitive analysis. And that is, we always say, are they using the rankings to understand whom to hire? Are your clients going there? Well, one of the things you can do is utilize those rankings research results for competitive analysis. And it's a great place to understand how others in the market see you based on research. Now, the research has biases and there are some issues with it, but these are resources that are generally free. You don't have to go and invest tons of money in expensive tools to identify a lot of different data points and gather raw data and do really complex landscaping, which bigger firms may still want to do. You certainly still want to do that, but this is something that everyone can do. So that is how you start off doing your competitive landscaping. You put it into a pretty little spreadsheet. And then you really want to figure out how you're going to use this data to make decisions. And when you have a better understanding of what's going on in the market, sorry guys, I'm a little bit lost with my technology this morning. Sorry, everybody, you know what, just stop, have a sip of coffee. Let's just do that. I started a Whole30. It's just black coffee. I feel like a grown-up who can do competitive analysis. Okay, so you want to get fancy. You want to get some tools. Okay, if you're at a big firm, you probably already have access to a number of different tools that provide business intelligence that can inform this type of competitive landscaping. You may have access to something like Lex Machina or Clarivate or something robust. Sorry to all the ones I'm not mentioning, because there are a ton of these out there that are very useful when it comes to gathering data for you. And especially in the IP space, which is our area of expertise, this is something that there's a lot of data available. It's something accessible, but often it comes at a cost. And there's a cost in terms of money. You have to invest in it, then you have to learn how to use it, gather data out of it, make it meaningful for you. That is also true when it comes to competitive landscaping. So you can get tools out there that will identify who represents whom. It will identify litigation statistics, for example. Those can be incredibly useful when it comes to competitive analysis. So you can understand not just what business you have and what business your competitors have, but how well you're conducting that business. What are those success markers that you're looking for? If you're doing patent work, for example, what's the grant rate? That's something that people ask all the time. This can be incredibly useful when you're reaching out to potential clients, when you're formulating how to answer an RFP, when you are trying to determine areas of improvement. These are all things that you can identify with data like this, and with people who can identify those areas of opportunity within the data itself. And you can also use this for more things related to your firm, but for competitive analysis, you probably already have those tools and are not even utilizing them. You also can take deep dives into some of the basic tools that you're using to run your business, like your CRM. This has a lot of rich information that you can use in terms of what kinds of relationships you have to conduct relationship analysis. A lot of these software developers are utilizing artificial intelligence and doing modeling based on competitive analysis. And this is something that is advanced, but for a larger firm in a bigger jurisdiction can be incredibly useful when it comes to making these decisions. So let's say you've got your competitive landscape together. It's a beautiful picture. You can see yourself, you can see your firm, you can see where everybody else is. What are you going to do with it? Okay, most of you are probably going to do nothing, because that's just the nature of the beast. We always invest in all of these things, and then we don't take it to the next level and say, okay, what does our strategic plan look like? And how did we get here? How did we come to this information? How did we make these decisions? A lot of these decisions are just made off the cuff, or the strategic plan is done by marketing professionals who don't have access to the business intelligence that's being utilized by your legal professionals. So you want to make sure that the people on your team are coming together to utilize this competitive analysis together with other information to create your strategic plan and to make decisions with a foundation based on real data real information, where you actually stand in the market, and what your goals are. So we want to consider what the business goals are, and then make sure we incorporate that competitive landscaping into the strategic plan for the firm. This is a step that is not usually so organized. You might have access to some of this information, but it's not really put into place and practice when it comes to the actual decisions. So these are things that right away, even if you're just using the free information that's out there, understanding the thought leadership, doing social media monitoring, and understanding where your competition sits to be able to say, okay, this is where I want to sit. And this is why I want to sit here, because I've identified what's meaningful, what's valuable, what's useful to my clients and to the clients I want to have, the clients that belong to other firms now. And so that's really the crux of why we're doing this activity and how we're going to utilize it to be successful for the firm. And if you have questions about how to conduct competitive landscaping, what tools are best for you, if you have never done a SWOT analysis, if you don't know what a SWOT analysis is, this is kind of a basic marketing concept. Maybe a lot of lawyers don't. Maybe you never went to business school, you never heard it, you never took a marketing class. So we're looking for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT, that's what we're talking about when we say that. There are further elements of consideration that you can include. You can do a pest analysis and look at politics and economic markers, for example. And you can take this information and combine it with all of the data that you've gathered for your firm and the competition to structure that strategic plan. Firm Forward, my company, takes this information. We actually conduct the research and the analysis and put it together in a competitive landscape for you. And then when we do strategic planning, which we do for a lot of different firms, these are our primary clients and they need strategic planning. So maybe your law firm needs strategic planning too. We put this together in a really simple, understandable, comprehensive way so that your marketing professionals can also be involved in this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to come in and say, oh, well, this is what's happening and this is what we're going to do. It's digestible. And so if you need assistance with that, this is something that we are excited to help people with, and we would love to be your partners in that journey. And when it comes to selecting the legal tools and information and business intelligence resources, we are also here for that. So if you are unsure in your practice area which resources you have that can already feed this, if you are unsure of which resources you should have, or if you've got the professionals at your firm who just need some training or some guidance, that is also something that we are happy to work with you on. And hopefully you'll take competitive analysis to the next level and utilize it for your strategic planning, business development, and marketing decisions. And if you have questions about how that works, let us know. Shoot us an email at solutions@firmforward.com. And stay tuned in the coming weeks. We have some important announcements and some exciting developments happening at Firm Forward that we're excited to share with you. We are growing and it's exciting, so we hope that you will stick around for that in the next couple of weeks. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channels. We're at Firm Forward everywhere, and we look forward to working with you and just having you in our network and answering questions as they come along. Have a great week, everybody.